Way back in 2010, Samsung built a dual-screen Android smartphone that brought a new take on multitasking to the Galaxy S experience. 4 years later, the company is doing it again, and this time, it's phablet owners who are taking note. I'm Michael Fisher with Pocketnow, and this is our video review of the Samsung Galaxy Note Edge. When we first saw the smartphone at IFA 2014 in September, I was less than impressed. The software was buggy, and the compromises made to accommodate the novel display meant the fit and finish suffered in comparison with the excellent Galaxy Note 4. That last point still stands. The Note 4 does boast a better in-hand feel, and if you want more details on that, check out our recent comparison video. Standing alone, though, the Note Edge is more oddity than anything else. An asymmetric airplane wing of a smartphone that's a little awkward to pick up and a little delicate to hold, both thanks to that futuristic curved display. The curved component is just a small part of an otherwise excellent AMOLED screen, with plenty of pixel density, terrific saturation and contrast, and the embedded Wacom digitizer that makes the included S Pen work. The Edge display dominates the phone's entire right-hand side, so the power standby key now sits up top, an inconvenience on a phone this big. Everything else, though, remains where you expect it on a top-tier Samsung, from the IR transmitter to the heart rate blood oxygen sensor to the removable battery and storage expansion bay. There may be an edge here, but remember, that's the second word in the name. First and foremost, this thing's a Note, and as such, it's a really good smartphone. If you watched our Galaxy Note 4 review a few months back, you already know our feelings on the software here. If you didn't, they can be easily summarized. If you don't mind waiting a while for an update to the latest Android version, and you really want to make the most out of an oversized display, you'll be right at home on a Note. Samsung's software is neither the prettiest nor the most consistent, but it takes better advantage of a big screen than any other interface out there. And that goes double for the Note Edge. That's thanks to the Edge display, which Samsung's UI treats as a totally different screen, kind of like the old external caller ID screens on yesterday's clamshell phones. The Edge display serves as a cosmetic accessory, big notification bar, handy bedside clock, sports, social, and stock ticker, data usage meter, shortcuts panel, you name it, Samsung has probably found a way to shoehorn it into 160 pixels. Even the ruler, which I instinctively made fun of at first, came in handy recently when a friend called me up asking me to measure my foot to be fitted for wedding shoes. And even if none of that ties your topsiders, Samsung has provided the APIs for developers to build their own downloadable panels, which are sparse now but may grow if Samsung releases more bent-screened phones in the future. As a whole, the Edge display is definitely a bit superfluous. But don't be too quick to dismiss it. If you really commit to using it, it's very convenient for one-handed access to your apps, and it frees up a ton of home screen space for widgets or just a cleaner look. And it adds still another layer to Samsung's multitasking portfolio. Check it out. With the Edge screen combined with multi-window, you can literally watch Netflix, surf Twitter, and keep an eye on football scores all on the same screen. And the phone doesn't even break a sweat while you're doing it. Is it comfortable or practical? Not in the slightest. But you can if you want to. And come to think of it, that might as well be the unofficial slogan of the whole Note family. The Edge smartly takes advantage of its curved display in the camera software, which puts all the controls above the fold of the screen. This looks great, probably better than any Samsung viewfinder on the market, but it's also really easy to accidentally shoot pictures, especially when you're shooting one-handed. Fortunately, the performance of the camera itself is just as impressive here as on the Note 4. The 16-megapixel shots feature great, rich colors and contrast, smart blending in HDR, and pretty good low-light quality, thanks to optical image stabilization. Unless you regularly towed a DSLR or mirrorless camera around, this is a smartphone shooter that probably won't leave you wishing for another. By the same token, you're probably going to be impressed by the Note Edge's general performance, regardless of application. Our AT&T review device gave us excellent data speeds and average voice quality in Greater Boston over a 1-week period, and testing its Snapdragon 805 with a title like Sky Gambler's Air Supremacy was sublime. Even over a non-stop half-hour of play, the game didn't stutter once. The interface is still subject to the occasional herky-jerky responsiveness issues, but as we learned in our Nexus 6 review, that's no longer an issue confined to phones with heavy skins. Still, sluggishness does tend to get worse over time rather than better, so we'll keep an eye out for how well the Note Edge ages, and if we're able, we'll report back in an installment of After the Buzz. The final test area, battery life, yielded no surprises. Despite the reduction in battery size relative to the Note 4, the Edge is capable of the same 5 hours of screen-on time over a day of moderate usage. That's admirable considering the added display activity the Edge screen brings, but it's not nearly as impressive as the 6, 7, and even 10-hour screen-on times we've seen on similarly sized devices with lower resolution displays. Fortunately, the same quick charging we're seeing on most modern phones has made its way here as well. Is the Note Edge the best Galaxy Note there is? Not necessarily. The more conventional Note 4 might be less flashy, but it feels better in the hand, it's easier to use in some ways, and I think it looks better. But the Note Edge is bigger in an abstract sense. It's the ultimate expression of Samsung's phablet philosophy. The Note Edge seems to say, anything you can dream of doing on a smartphone, you can do with this device. And in that respect, it almost justifies its outsized price tag. Almost. The Galaxy Note Edge isn't for Joe's six-pack looking for mere utility. It's an overpowered showboat for the futurist, the feature flaunter, or just the Android user who truly wants it all. For an in-depth look at everything the Note Edge was built upon, check out our Galaxy Note 4 review here on YouTube and at Pocketnow, linked in the description below, and check out Galaxy Note Edge versus Galaxy Note 4, also here on YouTube. Till next time, this has been Michael Fisher with Pocketnow, Captain Two Phones on Twitter. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna go take the Edge off. Sorry, that's the last one, I promise. We'll see you next time.